Back here on the Bottom Shot podcast and able to catch up with a NASCAR legend, former Busch Series champion, former Cup Series champion, current modified driver. That's weird to say, running the Smart Tour full-time down south. And he's one of the 10 confirmed SRX drivers here later this summer, Bobby Labonte. Bobby, first off, thanks for joining us here on the Bottom Shot podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here and excited about your show. And, can't wait for you to ask me a ton of questions that I can't answer.
And a lot of those will be about modified racing, but let's start off with the SRX event coming up in the second weekend of June here at Stafford. It kicks off the first ever SRX season. You're a part of it. How did it come to be for you to be a part of this elite bunch?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny where Ray Abraham, I bumped into him at some oddball place. We're at an auction one day. I was with a buddy of mine that needed some stuff for his race team. And I said, I'll go with you. Ray was there doing kind of the same thing and bumped into him there. And he was like, man, I am trying to figure out how to make the IROC series work again. I've got some ideas, working with George Pine, talking to him. I'll keep you in the loop. Okay. All right. See you later. So then we'll bump into each other again. And, are you getting close? Are you getting close? Yeah. I mean, just getting things rolling. So then like a third or fourth time later, when talking to him, I heard that he was like, got it going. And so I texted him, I said, you got it? And he texted me back and says, you want in? I said, hell yeah. So we got in. So I got in pretty early and fortunately to be in it. I mean, I think it's just awesome that, starting the series off, I know they got a lot of work to do. I know they're working hard, being brand new. Obviously, a year from now, it's going to be a little easier for those guys. But for me, I mean, that's a great opportunity running against some of the greatest drivers out there. And, I think the format, the way I've heard it, I haven't heard all of it, but the way I know it, it seemed like it's should be a lot of fun. And we're going to have good races and different racetracks and starting off at Stafford. And, so I feel like we're on the right track to have a great series.
Yeah, we're very excited at Stafford. I know we sold the tickets in a matter of hours up here. It's a limited capacity, but there is high demand to see all the stars of the SRX series. So tell me, what do you know about Stafford? Have you ever really even seen the track? Kind of take me through your knowledge of Stafford Speedway.
Dude, iRacing is all I've done. All I know about Stafford is iRacing. And of course, all the stories from everybody that I've raced with my whole life, it seemed like it's like, oh, we've raced at either Wall Stadium or Stafford this and this and that, Stafford that, and this other track. And so I know a lot of people that, obviously have raced there. I've heard about it a long time, but never been there. Looking forward to going. And, good Lord, we got to fly in there on Thursday. I hope I can find my way from Boston there. I hope I got the right airport to go into. So anyway, it's going to be from there. Yeah. So looking forward to it. I mean, if it's anything like iRacing, it should be a lot of fun.
So what'd you learn from your laps on iRacing here from the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway?
Dude, I'm not telling you. Everybody's listening. I mean, everybody wants to tell everybody everything nowadays. But no, seriously,
they're way more competitive than everybody is assuming here. Everyone's looking to win.
Yeah, no, I mean it obviously, and I've seen some videos from it, and I mean it's obviously not it's a typical short track, but not typical. All short tracks got a little different characteristics, and it looks to me like Stafford does too. And I think it's going to be, it's pretty tight and pretty fast. And, I love the way it's got, it's got some good banking to it. And, it's been a while since my iRacing day on it, but yeah, I mean, I haven't tried to run a late model up there. I always ran like a little modified. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a tight little racetrack.
So there's been a lot out about the cars the last 2 weeks or so. Have you, what are your thoughts on the car? I mean, I'm a fan. I think they're a touch of every kind of car out there. Have you got a chance to take a look at the car yet? And what is your take on it?
Yeah, I actually went to the race shop and saw it. And I was really afraid that after I was there for about 30 minutes, they were going to put me to work because there was a lot of stuff happening. And I'm like, okay, if I tell them I knew how to weld, they might put me to welding something or anything like that. So I kind of stuck it out. I just kind of looked around and kind of gave it a once over. I mean, the car does look pretty awesome. I mean, to me, it reminds me, and I know the guys at Fury are building them, and it reminds me of a Trans Am car, or I say a Trans Am TA2 car. So a TA2 car, I've been able to test one a few times at VIR, and I think they're really neat race cars, So looking at it, I'm like, well, looks pretty. Obviously, it's a perimeter car. It's got my old late model cockpit, where the pipes come out the right. It's got kind of a floorboard in it that's built up, pedals on the floor, fuel cell's a fuel cell, but, good bumpers and, the way the body is with a wing on the back, a little bit of front, obviously it's a different looking nose. It's not like a Chevy Camaro or a Ford Mustang. It's got its own little look to it. So it could be a Lamborghini, all I know. And, it's like it's got pretty good horsepower. So I talked to Schrader. I'm sorry. I heard from Schrader. He said it's got more motor than tire. I'm like, great. That's good. And then I talked to a guy yesterday that said Stremme run it on dirt and was pretty happy with it. So, what else can you ask for? I think that's going to be a good recipe for some good racing. It looks like a really, really safe race car. I looked at the welds, the Fury guys, great job. It's a standard straight up car, so, but it's a coilover, stuff that I'm used to seeing on the late model days. So, for me, it's nothing foreign.
We'll see it in competition for the first time here on Saturday, June 12th. However, you are in modified country up here when you come to the Stafford Motor Speedway, and you've been doing a lot of modified racing recently. And in the last couple of years, you've been dabbling in it, running in the Smart Tour full-time this season. What brought you down that route?
Yeah, that's a crazy one right there. I'll tell you, it's I'm at home. I'm not doing much. Weekends, seem like I'm relaxed and, enjoying life, what you might call life, I guess. And I'm going to say, it's like all good. So a buddy of mine calls me and says, hey man, would you want to come to Bowman Gray and help me with my modified I'm going to run? And I'm like, okay. I knew you dabbled in some little things, but a modified, okay. So he said, come up here and help me, bring your helmet. I'll let you run some laps and, maybe you could help me, figure out the track a little bit more. I said, well, I've never been there before. So, and it's only 12 miles from my house.
Oh, wow.
But I've never been there.
Yep.
So I said, okay. So I go up there. I paid $5 to get in the pit gate. I take my helmet and walk in there and I'm looking around. I'm like, wow, it's a football field. And it's a little bit of asphalt around it. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. So I go out and I watch him run a little bit. Like, man, well, drive in a little harder, get on the gas a little sooner, things like that. He said, why don't you drive it? I said, okay. So I got in it, moved the seat around a little bit and got comfortable, run about 15 laps, 20 laps. That's pretty fun,
That's beauty.
Yeah. He said, well, are you going to come back for the race tonight? Because you practice 2 hours in the morning, then you don't have to do anything. I said, I don't know. My wife's, she's in college, went back to college and she was at Duke. And I was like, I don't know, by myself. I'll just hang out by myself. I'm just going to stay home, watch a movie, Okay, well, we're here, just come on back. I said, all right. So I got home and I was messing around. So I actually cooked dinner and ate dinner early. I drove over there, paid $25 to get in the pit gate, watched him race, saw a heck of a finish and saw 3 fights. Yeah. And I told my dad, I said, for $30, that's the best $30 I spent in a long time. So that was the hook that got me. So I drove one of Burt Meyer's cars back after that. And then we didn't run last year at all. We were going to run, but didn't run. So then last fall, Mike Smith, Andretti called me and said, hey, you want to drive my car? John's got COVID. I said, sure. Okay. Let me call you right back. I called him back. Yeah, okay. I can do all that. Go down and practice. Ended up at the race, qualified first, finished fourth. I'm like, okay, now we're talking. Mm-hmm. So about a week later, he's like, you want to drive this thing next year? And I'm like, absolutely. So there you have it. That was kind of the start of it. But I've always watched modifieds race at Martinsville. I've always watched them race at Loudon. I was always a fan of them, but I just never thought I'd be one to do that. And when I was growing up, Jay Hedgecock, that I worked for, built modifieds to race Bowman Gray. I never went up there. I never sat in one, never wanted to, because my mind was on a steel body, full body car to go NASCAR racing. So I never thought about it. So lo and behold, here I am. I guess I'm reliving my youth.
So everyone says that modified guys are crazy. Is that true?
I hope so.
So and here's the real question now. I think everybody at Stafford sees Bobby Labonte running a modified down south And so everyone says, how the heck do we get him up to Stafford Speedway to log some laps and show him a true modified country up here?
Yeah, well, I told you I'm flying into Boston, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to take much for me to get there because I've already got my flight booked and I'm going to be there. So it's probably not going to take much to bend my arm behind my back for me to go do it. Now, I've got hopefully a few more races before then. And, but so far so good this year. And, you never know, we might just show up and have fun because it's been a blast. Those cars are way more fun to drive than I ever thought. I call it a beast because it's just plenty of power and you're running off the right rear and you better not burn it off. So
should mention
tons of fun.
That the Friday night before the SRX, they have
I'm in.
Open mod.
Open modified show.
The Twisted T Open 80, where the winner gets 80 twisted T's in victory lane. So
I can handle that.
Going to be a fun weekend. You got a big weekend coming up as well, going back to South Boston for the first time since 1991, but this time in a modified. So best of luck to you this weekend, and can't wait to get you up here in a couple of months' time for the SRX event and maybe even a modified.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you guys for having me on. I think it might have took a little longer than we anticipated, but finally got a few minutes to get with you and look forward to seeing you in Stafford. And hopefully we can work on when I get to a racetrack, I don't want to just sit around. I want to race.
I like that.
Absolutely. June 11th and 12th right here at Stafford. Bobby, thanks again for joining us, and best of luck here this weekend at South Boston.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Bobby.